You might be tempted to ask, what is it about the city of Las Vegas that attracts all the weirdos? I mean, Elvis impersonators, killer leprechauns, planes filled with escaped convicts, professional gamblers trying to steal other men's wives, and now, Zack Snyder. I am, of course, referring to the recently released Army of the Dead. Oh boy, did this movie get a lot of hype. And having seen it, I would say it's not entirely undeserved. I actually liked this movie. It was a lot of fun. It was a great little romp with just about everything you could possibly ask of a good zombie apocalypse movie. The plot, of course, concerns a bombed-out, abandoned Las Vegas, where Dave Bautista is forced to gather a group of mercenaries to raid the vault in one of the abandoned hotels and get all the money before an atomic bomb gets dropped to deal with all the zombies. Think of it as sort of being like Ocean's 11 meets The Expendables meets Dawn of the Dead, or probably more appropriate, Shaun of the Dead. Overall, though, it is a fun movie filled with a lot of really clever little nods and winks to not just other zombie films, but to horror in general. Most obviously, one of the female leads is based off Vasquez from Aliens. But I do have to say I have one particularly big gripe with this film, and that is that everything it has gotten the most praise for as being so innovative and so ahead of its time, etc., well, really, it's not all that new. You know, the idea of zombies retaining some degree of intelligence and even having like a social hierarchy, that goes all the way back to I Am Legend, which was the granddaddy of the zombie apocalypse genre, even though the book was about vampires, not zombies, but the point still stands. You know, zombie animals like a tiger, that's really not all that new either. Certainly zombies and zombievers have done that before. By the way, those will be the subject of future reviews. Keep an eye out for that. And even the idea of zombies being capable of getting pregnant. Snyder himself already presented us that almost 20 years ago with his Dawn of the Dead remake. So all this stuff that was considered so incredible, to me, it's like, nah, we've seen that before. Granted, they were presented very, very well in this. Certainly, I can't remember a zombie queen ever looking quite that good. And what does it say about me personally that I actually just said that? Forget it. Anyhow, as far as horror comedy goes, this one is, it's okay. You know, it could have been a lot funnier. Many of the one-liners really fall flat, and some of the characters just, they don't rub me enough to make them actually particularly funny. We're not talking, you know, a young Frankenstein brilliance here, but they did the best they could. And Dave Bautista, he's an actor I've got kind of mixed feelings on, you know. I give him all the credit in the world that he knows what he's good at and he sticks to it. He can do action, he can do comedy, and that's about it. You know, think of him as kind of a slightly lower rent Arnold for our day. Zack Snyder as a director, when he is good, he's really very good, such as seen here. When he's bad, he is, so bad. And when I recently heard he actually wants to make a movie out of an Ayn Rand novel, all I could think was that between his fondness of slow motion and Ayn Rand's long-windedness, it's going to probably be just 3 straight hours of people standing in place. I would rate Army of the Dead a solid 3.5 out of 4 stars. This is a fun and entertaining movie, and particularly if you like zombies, this one will be right up your alley, with a few fun little twists and turns here and there. And actually, the one little innovation they made that I will give praise to was the idea of zombies having enough intelligence to wear a steel helmet. That was actually the one new thing that I hadn't seen before that I thought was really clever. So overall, a pretty good film. I certainly would recommend it. We still got more coming up, folks, so please stay tuned. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Eat, drink, and be scary, and I'll see you next time.